Hey guys, I am going to show you how to do some composite images. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to do the cut and drag method. There's a couple different ways you can do this. So essentially, I've got two pictures here. I've got one of this dancer and one of this daffodil. So I'm going to be putting the dancer on top of the daffodil. There's a couple different tools that you can use to do this, but the first thing you need to do is you need to open up, obviously, both images that you're going to be cutting and dragging, or multiple. If there's 3 or 4 images, you need to open them all in Photoshop, which I've already done. When you do that, it will bring those two images up here, and you'll see the different tabs where you can toggle between the two images. So I'm going to start with this one because this is the one I'm going to cut and put onto the daffodil. So I'm going to show you guys with the lasso tool. So if you come over here to your toolbar, the third or about the third tool down from the top is your lasso tool. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Now, if I right click, it gives me other options. You can use these, but especially the magnetic lasso tool can get kind of tricky. So I would recommend just using the lasso tool for now. Then what you're going to do with your cursor, with your mouse, is you're going to just click and drag, and you're just going to kind of draw around the area that you're wanting to cut. Now, notice how I'm not getting up really close to her skin or anything like that, because I can erase all of that later, so I'm not too concerned with how close I get it to her actual body. Now let's say I messed up. Say I accidentally came across her midsection or something like that here, and that's not what I wanted to have selected. You can come up here to your top toolbar and click on either select and deselect, or you can go to edit and undo lasso, and that will take it off, and then you can redraw it. But this is what I want, so I'm going to keep it. Then I'm going to come over here to, I'm going to right click first in the area that I want cut, and I'm going to say layer via cut, and then I'm going to grab my move tool up here at the top. It's the very first tool, and then I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click and drag this portion that I cut out onto my other image. Now this is really important. You have to click and drag. I'm still holding my mouse. I'm hovering over this tab. I'm still holding my mouse. Still holding my mouse, and once I get onto the picture, that's when I drop it. You have to hold it that entire time, otherwise you will just create another tab up here. Now if you do that, it's not the end of the world. You can just exit out of it and try again, okay? But now you want to make sure that Show Transform Controls right up here is checkmarked, because otherwise you won't be able to resize. When you resize, you have to hold the Shift key to make sure everything is in the correct proportion. And then you can make it as big or small as you need it to be. I'm going to make mine about that big, I think. Maybe a little bit smaller. Okay. And I can re-drag it later if I want to. Then I have to hit return on my keyboard once I've got it in place. I'm going to zoom in, which is Command plus on my keyboard. That's the shortcut, so that I can see this pretty clearly since mine's a little smaller. You may not have to do that. Now to erase all of this, we're basically going to treat this like our selective color project. So I'm going to come over here to my layers panel, and if you do not see your layers panel, you want to go up to Window and make sure Layers is checkmarked. Then you're going to come down here to this little menu bar down here, and you're going to find the one that says Add Layer Mask, and you want to make sure that you're on layer 1, not on the background layer. So on layer 1, I'm going to make a layer mask. Creates this blank white canvas. You want to make sure that this is what's selected when you do this, not this. Okay, make sure that layer mask is selected. Then you're going to come over here to your brush tool, and you're going to make sure that black is on top of white. Now remember, if this isn't black, it's a completely different color. You can click on that and then make it black. Okay, and it can't be gray, it has to be black. And then you're just going to treat this like selective color, and you're going to go in and you're going to erase around, and you want to make sure you have nice clean edges. So I can zoom in to get cleaner edges if I want. You guys can use the pen and the tablet for this part if you want. Okay, and you're just going to go in and erase any edge that you don't want. Now obviously for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not going to do this all out because we would be here for a very long time. But I'm just going to basically show you how to do this without going too far into detail. Alright, so let's say that's where I wanted it to be. Not really, but for the sake of the video, we'll say that that's where I want it to be. Okay, so once I've got this, now I can click on this layer again, and I can kind of make some adjustments. Let's say I get it in here and it's just not the right color or something like that. Okay, I can come in and I can make a hue and saturation, and I can adjust that. Now it jumped to this one, so I just have to make sure it's on the right layer. Really though, if you're going to adjust colors or anything like that, I'm going to delete that because I don't want it. I would just do it in Camera Raw first before you bring it into Photoshop. But you can always adjust things at this point if you need to. Now, I'm not on my mask, so now when I'm drawing, it's just creating black lines. So to undo that, I can either edit, undo brush tool, or I can do Command Option Z, Command Alt Z on my keyboard, and that will step backward. I want to make sure I'm on my mask. So once I've got it where I want it, remember I want you to have clean lines. Obviously I don't because I'm not spending too much time on this. Once you're completely finished, you want to File, Save As, and make sure that down here it's a JPEG file when you save it. If it's not, you won't be able to upload it to Weebly. Okay. Now if you're not finished and you're in the middle of it, when the bell rings or something like that, you want to make sure you save it as a Photoshop file, because once it's a JPEG, you won't be able to access these layers anymore. And that is how you do the cut and drag method for your composite images.